Hey, North Kansas City School Champions, it's Dr. Johnson. For those of you who are new to the district this year, welcome to the best district in the state of Missouri. For those of you who have been members of our district family for a while now, welcome back. I hope everyone has had a great start to the year. One thing I like to do at the beginning of each equity module is draw our attention back to our mission. That's our purpose for existence and our reason for being. Our mission states, as relentless champions for all students, North Kansas City Schools' mission is to develop self-aware, authentically empowered, future-ready learners through a rich array of purposeful learning opportunities in collaborative cultures and communities of belonging that are culturally affirming, academically challenging, experiential, and exploratory for each student. That's a mission we hold dear, a mission we don't take lightly. And the equity work that we engage in is one way that we take this mission from theoretical aspirations and turn it into practical applications that can serve and transform the lives of our students, our staff, and the communities we serve. This year, we're excited to pick up our equity journey where we left off last year. In 2023, our central question was how can we create and sustain collaborative cultures of belonging that are culturally affirming and academically challenging? That essential question is not going to change this year. As we continue on our path toward creating positive experiences for all students, we're going to take that same essential question, but highlight the word sustain, because once you've created situations and spaces of belonging, those have to be sustained through the intentional practices that we put in place. Imagine our equity journey as a beautiful scenic drive. The route we traveled last year was highlighted by the theme belonging by design. Space, culture, trust, and empathy served as guideposts we use to foster authentic belonging among our students, staff, and community. These guideposts will continue to play a major role in developing our organizational stance and operational strategies as we continue down the road toward greater belongingness for all. However, as we extend beyond the concept of belonging by design into a phase that elevates belonging in action, we will add additional guideposts along the next leg of our journey. The theme belonging in action is aptly named because creating conditions for authentic belonging requires active movement. Movement in our mindsets, movement in our systems, and movement from what is to what should be. As I previously stated, we will continue to use trust, empathy, space, and culture to design and create conditions for belonging. However, sustaining our effort requires us to adopt four active dispositions: celebrate, validate, advocate, and agitate. If trust, empathy, space, and culture are guideposts that navigate you toward belonging, having the capacity to celebrate, validate, advocate, and agitate are the daily driving habits required to sustain yourself and the work along the journey. I want to take a moment to explain these four dispositions and how they impact our equity work. When we say celebrate, we have to take time to honor and appreciate our own and each other's cultures, customs, and social identities. When we value ourselves and we value others and what they do and what they bring to the table, we can celebrate who they are and, in essence, who we are collectively. When I think of the term validate, I hear the words of Dr. Baruti Kafele delivered with piercing accuracy and reassuring love. He explains that educational equity, simply put, is meeting people where they are, as they are. That thought to me is the starting point for validation. When we meet people where they are, as they are, we commit to receive them and see them, their histories, viewpoints, and social understandings from their perspective and not our own. We recognize their authority in defining their authentic experience, and we support them in that process. That, again, is the starting point of our commitment to understanding each other and to growing together. To advocate is to make a public stance on behalf of a person or a topic. Belonging is created through advocacy. Speaking up for those whose voices may not have been elevated on topics where their experiences will be impacted. Seeing the easily missed or overlooked components of a decision making process and having the courage to draw attention to that concern. Advocacy is not always glamorous, welcome, or met with appreciation because questioning the norm can lead to dissonance and disequilibrium. Nevertheless, advocacy is an essential element to creating the conditions for belonging, especially in spaces, systems that were not intentionally designed with equity, inclusion, and belonging in mind. Now, let's unpack the word agitate a bit more. Oftentimes, agitate gets confused with words like irritate, which is to annoy, instigate, which is to incite without reason or nefarious purpose, or obliterate, which absolutely means to destroy. However, agitate in context to educational equity in North Kansas City schools means to place into motion or to shake up or stir. Because we're a district whose desires for all individuals to feel a strong sense of belonging in our organization, we want to shake up the systems that have contributed to predictable, disproportionate outcomes. Stir up the gifts of our students and patrons so they can participate authentically and contribute holistically to our collective story, and put into motion significant systems change by pulling traditionally overlooked communities from the shade of the periphery into the light of centricity. We agitate by holding ourselves accountable to progress as we constantly review our own policies and practices, question what we consider to be normative, and by critiquing ourselves to ensure our actions are aligned with our espoused values. When we say we want our organization to take on a disposition of agitation, we are empowering our students and staff to be bold in their efforts to create a barrier free experience for each student. Our efforts with respect to equity based professional development this year will center around developing our equity playbook. We have 5 overarching equity proficiencies, or playbook plays that I affectionately call them, that will serve as the strategies we'll use to move our theme, belonging in action, from theory into professional practice. Through our equity modules this year, we'll use these proficiencies to answer the essential question: how do we create and sustain collaborative cultures of belonging that are culturally affirming and academically challenging? The 5 equity proficiencies are: know yourself, set expectations, understand power, cultivate community, and protect the space. As we organize our equity modules around these 5 strategies, you'll see the relationship that exists between our theme, our belonging guideposts, and the active dispositions outlined earlier. Although I look forward to explaining these 5 strategies more throughout the year, today's module will focus on the first strategy only: know yourself. While this is more of a reflective and personal module, we're intentionally beginning here because we know the work of understanding who you are and how you're seen by others is never ending. And it also impacts how we show up and how we interact with the students that we serve. The more curious and humble we are about our own social identities, the better we can serve as relentless champions for all students. I hope you're burning with excitement as we dive into our first module. Please enjoy your time learning and growing with your colleagues today.